Command spacebar, Xcode, enter. The file that I'm going to use is a free application that I downloaded from the Apple developer website, and I'll leave a link in the description. I chose this file because they have this folder, views, and it's full of storyboard and .swift files, which helps illustrate how the assistant editor works. For each of these .storyboard files, you'll notice they each have their own storyboard, or they each have their own view controller. Each one of these .storyboard files has an associated .swift file, which is the code that allows you to edit those view controllers that are in these storyboard files. With a .storyboard selected, I'm going to drag my mouse over here and open this panel and select the assistant. Now the assistant editor, whenever you have a .storyboard open, it opens the correct file that's associated with it right next to the storyboard file. So for the stack view controller.storyboard, it opens the stack view controller.swift file automatically. It allows you to do this so you can link certain elements of that view controller easily by holding Control, clicking and dragging. Now, I created a new outlet by just clicking and dragging and into the assistant editor area. I'm going to delete that outlet that I just created by first disconnecting it, then selecting it, and Command X. Okay, so you're going to ask yourself, how does the assistant editor know which file to open? That's because the view controller is of the same class as this .swift code file. You're going to click on this view controller and hit Command Option 0 to open this inspector panel. Make sure the inspector is open, the identity inspector, and you'll notice under custom class and class, this stack view is of the same class stack view controller. These two are the same. That's how the assistant knows to open this file whenever you click on this storyboard, because they're of the same class, and that's what allows you to be able to create outlets from elements inside this view controller into this Swift file. So for example, with this selected, and if I change the name of the class of this view controller, enter, no assistant results. So when I click on here, there's no assistant results because now this stack view controller.swift file is of a different class than the .storyboard file. So I'm going to change, well, here I'll further illustrate. Now, if I hit Option and click on that .swift file to open it up next to each other, you'll notice all the outlets are no longer connected. And if I select an element inside this view controller, Control, click and drag over here to try to connect, it creates the outlet, but it's not connected to anything, and you can't reference to this outlet because this view controller and this .swift file are of two different class types. So I'll delete that, close that, and delete this. Command X. And I'm gonna change that class of this view controller back to the proper class. Enter, close the assistant editor, and then open it back up. And you'll see it's working, and if you create an outlet, it'll be connected. The reason why I found this feature is because I was trying to add view controllers and I wasn't able to connect them. Command-Shift-L brings up the object library. If I type in view controller and click and add a new view controller, you notice the assistant editor brings up a file that I'm not trying to work with. So if I wanted to add a new view controller and connect it to, here, option click, if I wanted to connect it to this stack view controller, first I locate the class, copy that instead of trying to type it so I don't make any mistakes, and in the class, Command V to paste that in there, enter. Now I can connect any element of this new view controller by control click drag. And it works. So that is how the assistant editor works, and also how to connect elements of a new view controller to a .swift file.